How are you doing today?
Hey, Stephanie. I'm good. I'm all today. How are you?
Great. Hightown was such a crazy series, and you play such a rebellious character. How does it feel to play the female lead in this series?
Feels amazing. I've never gotten to be the female lead of a series before, not like this. So it's incredible. I'm very grateful.
And a lot of unexpected things happened to Jackie, like finding a dead body on the shore. Um, why do you think Jackie felt like it was her mission to solve the murder case?
I don't know actually why she felt like it. She just was following her instinct, and she was driven to it. Jackie's in a place in her life where she's struggling with recovery, she's struggling with her addiction, she's just starting to face the music and trying to be honest with herself. So when she comes across this body, it somehow like draws some kind of purpose out of her. It gives her a mission that I think starts to fill her void.
You starred in Chicago Fire and directed episodes of Law and Order. What about crime dramas intrigues you?
I just love how dark and creepy sometimes they are. I love seeing characters go through extreme arcs, and I also like seeing that in storytelling. I get bored very easily, but in crime dramas, there's all these twists and turns, and you see characters from all walks of life coming together, and I just think it's a fascinating world to get lost in.
Yeah, it was definitely so interesting to watch. Like I was hooked on every episode and I really enjoyed it overall. What was your favorite part about filming the series?
Yeah, filming in P-Town. I'd never been to P-Town, and it's famous for its LGBTQ community, and that is my community. So being in that part of the country was so cool because it's such a proud town, and there are people from all walks of life, every background. I mean, it was the most diverse place I've ever been. So that was a lot of fun.
They looked so much fun, just like the opening scenes. And I've never been either, but just like the party vibe. It's just like it definitely makes me want to visit, even though it's kind of dark. But it's that's what's compelling about the series. So I think it was really great.
Thank you.
Lastly, the series is set around an opioid epidemic. What's a message you want to give to those who are battling an addiction?
you know, if you feel powerless over your substance, I hope that they understand that there are avenues of help, that there's a community out there who can support them, and there are resources available for when they're ready.
Do you think there's going to be season two? Are you working on anything?
I don't know if there's going to be season two. I hope so. I gotta wait till season one drops and see how y'all like it. We'll kind of go from there. But yeah, of course, I hope there's a season two. Right now, I'm working on a couple other projects that we'll see if they come to fruition. Everything's kind of on hold in Hollywood, as you know. I think we're trying to figure out the first order of business is to figure out how we're going to continue our business. Until then, everything's on hold.
Yeah, yeah, I know it's a weird time, but hopefully you're staying safe and healthy as well. So I'll definitely tell everyone to watch this because I think it's awesome. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, Stephanie, how are
You
you?
guys both look so great.
Oh, thank you. Right
You
back
too.
at
You too.
You two are quite the couple in Hightown. Renee, your character keeps her friends close, but her enemies even closer in the series. What do you want people to know about Renee when watching the show?
I guess I want them to know that there's lots of layers to her and she's not always just what she seems on the surface. She's been through a lot of trauma. She's an ex-addict who's recovered, and I think that's incredible. And I think because of her traumas, she kind of believes that relationships are transactional, but she also has this desire to have a normal domestic family and be one of the normal moms on the field trip. And it's not really her reality. And so I hope they can see the layers to her, and that first and foremost she's a mother who's trying to do what's best for her child.
I loved her character. I thought she played such an amazing role, and there was so many different plot twists in the show. Amari, your character runs the opioid ring, but behind bars. How was it playing Frankie for you?
Oh God, it was the most fun I've had in a while, I have to say. They say villains have the most fun, and then they're absolutely right. Frankie's he's a charismatic guy, that you love him. He's a great guy, but he's a villain. He's ruthless. You don't want to cross this guy. And one of the beautiful things that one of the challenging things I have to say was to able to try to be able to portray a guy that he's not just the villain that we're so used to seeing. I wanted to give a guy that layers and depth to a character that he could be your best friend, but at the same time he's our guy, he's our villain guy. And I not only that, he's also he's a father. He's got Renee as his girl. He's a guy who loyalty comes first. But again, I keep repeating myself, you don't want to cross this guy. The whole opioid ring is what's important to him. It's his empire. And I've been having too much fun playing this guy.
Yeah, I love it. How you just control everyone, but behind bars. I think that's so powerful. How was working with Monica Raymond and the rest of the crew on this series?
I think we were so incredibly lucky because it's so rare to be on a set where everyone just gets along so well. Casting crew included, I think everyone just seemed equally passionate in telling the story. And Monica was kind of our fearless leader. She's an incredible actress, but also this really inspiring person to be around. And I feel like I learned a lot from her, and she was amazing to work with.
It's an amazing cast. I mean, all around. And again, like Riley said, Monica is our leader. She's got the torch, and everybody's just filing right behind her. It was amazing to work with amazing actors. It brings your A game, and I have to be very grateful to have the opportunity of work with actors that they love to play. It was a camaraderie. Every time I would get up and I go, I get to work today with these amazing people and create magic.
How are you guys doing?
Hi.
Good. How are you?
You guys in Cape Cod right now?
Oh yeah.
Loving the scenery. So I really loved Hightown. It was such a crazy series, and I really loved all of your characters in the show. So Shane, your character Junior kind of lives a double life, and that gets him into a lot of trouble. What do you want people to know about your character when watching the series?
Yeah, Junior, I mean, he's a fisherman on the Cape. He's a recovering addict. He's trying to get his life together. I hope people can relate to the humanity in Junior and just him relate to him in his journey of recovery and his journey to better himself and try to transcend these kind of past transgressions and wanting redemption and all this stuff. I think it's a very relatable thing. And it was very easy to connect to that with him because, I mean, his life is intense, and the stuff that he deals with is intense, and it's tragic to some degree. But I really think it's a very relatable idea, just wanting to do better for yourself, do better for your family, and try to get past those old habits. But it's a long fought journey, and I'm excited for people to go on that with him.
Okay. Yeah, I was really rooting for your character, Shane. I thought he was really great. Atkins, you play such a badass character in the show. Why do you think Osito gave Junior a chance?
Throughout the course of the season, our friendship grows, and I think that Junior is Osito's only real friend. Like, if you look at other people in his life, they're not really his friends. And I think by nature of what he does, he doesn't have many people who he's really cool with. So in some twisted way, he kind of formed a bond with Junior. So even though he's kind of a tough guy, a very dark guy, he still has some light in him, some heart.
Don, you're Ray's partner in the series, and you guys have an interesting relationship as well. As a Black detective, you're not always getting the same privileges as Ray. Do you think this reflects in today's society?
Yes, in various ways. We address privilege and kind of the stereotypes and things like that we deal with every day. And obviously being in an environment, a microcosm of society where he's literally the only Black officer, he has to deal with whatever people project on him, whether that's the public at large or obviously his peer group. And so he kind of watches Ray get away with some things that, one, he would never be able to get away with, and two, he doesn't agree with. And so to watch this guy sort of flagrantly throw his weight around as a privilege, kind of upsets Alan in the sense that, you know, he would never be allowed to get away with it, nor involving things such as crime. It's kind of like committing crimes yourself in order to stop crime. So it has a lot of sticky dynamics.
How did you guys like being in the series overall?
Great. Great cast, great writing, energy on set. Everyone's great. You know, thank God we don't have any conflicts amongst personalities. That's always awesome. So it was fun. I enjoyed myself greatly.
Yeah, I mean, like from the moment we got together, I mean, I did my chemistry reads with Shane and already felt like there was a connection there. But once we got started working, you could feel that everybody was really about the work, but also that you had a group of really great people from top to bottom, you know, from crew to cast. Everybody was working so hard to make this come together, and everybody who I had a chance to interact with, I loved. It was an excellent experience.
Cool set. Everyone was, that's a great way to put it. I think going off what Atkins said, I like as well, just the care that everyone had for each other was pretty evident. And like Don was saying, it doesn't really happen that much. I don't think a lot of times there's some butting heads and weird conflicting stuff, and sets can be a weird place sometimes, but ours just felt like really easy, and it was the space to explore the work and to enjoy it was there from the beginning, and that's a real privilege.
Well, you guys brought so much to the table, each and every one of you. I will be telling everybody about this series because it's awesome. Hi, how's it going?
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Good. Really loving the look here. Your character is described as an abrasive yet effective member of their narcotics unit. Mm-hmm. What do you want viewers to know about your character when watching the show?
Yeah, Ray's effective. I don't know how effective Ray is, but he's definitely abrasive. He's a little bit all over the place. Ray's like a complicated calculus problem. You kind of just don't know where he's coming from. You assume there's a rhyme or reason, but I don't even know if Ray knows how he's doing and why he's doing it. So there's a lot of collateral damage with Ray.
How was playing the lead male role in the series?
I had such a great time on this show. I had such a great time. I'm really lucky. I work with great people, and I love Rebecca Cutter and Rachel Morris and Gary Lennon, and obviously Jerry Bruckheimer who put us all together. But this was it's a character-driven show, and when I get to show up with Monica and Riley and Shane and Amari and Atkins and Don, what I love about every actor on the show is there wasn't a day where they didn't surprise me. Where every day I showed up and I was like, well, I wonder what Don's going to do today or Monica's going to do today. You're always being surprised by these actors, and we just had a great time.
I love all of the characters in the show. I think you guys all complimented each other very well, and everyone played such a unique and strong character. It was awesome. You were working with Monica Raymond in the cast. Is there a favorite part that kind of stood out for you at all?
I'm a fan of endings in a strange way, and I know we all get sad on the last scene on the last day, but I think there's something really beautiful in that. So when we all show up to work and it's our last day working together and we all say our goodbyes and maybe we see each other down the line, those tend to be my favorite days because it means we completed something together. I think filmmaking is it's a team sport,
Did you face any challenges while you were filming the show?
I hadn't done a TV show in such a long time, so I forgot how much material comes at you. So I was just keeping up with what Rebecca would write.
This was basically your return to television, right?
Yeah, I had taken some time off. Yeah.
Well, I really loved it. Do you think that we can expect a season 2? Are you guys working on anything? Or?
I think that's up to you guys. If you guys watch it, I think we'll come back for a season 2.
This is the best time to watch these kind of shows. And even if we were in quarantine, I think it would still be really great.
Right on. Where do you live?
I actually live in New York, so it's super hard hitting here.
Yeah, I'm in New York also. So yeah. I mean, stay safe and do the right thing.
Yeah, stay safe and healthy, It's time to kind of reflect and just keep sane. So thank you so much again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. New York strong. See you.
I really loved Hightown. It's such a dark crime drama and told through a female lens that we don't really see that often. Rebecca, what was your inspiration behind creating the series?
You know what, like what you said, I love that sort of muscular, very masculine, kind of ball breaking crime stuff. I grew up reading like Dennis Lehane and Robert B. which is these Boston crime things. And so, yeah, the idea of doing that from a female, Latinx lesbian lead, it's like sort of putting together two things that I like. And, Cape Cod is very special to me. Provincetown is incredibly special to me. And, I have family there. My father-in-law was a fisheries service agent in Cape Cod. So kind of all the elements are from my life. But when I had that image of Jackie Quinones, that was really like the spark for the show. And this idea of sort of like a Don Draper as a woman, this woman with these big appetites and sort of selfish, but likable and, comedic. And, I really wanted the idea, putting her in a crime thing and just what would happen, I guess, was the inspiration.
Yeah, I loved everything about it. I think it's just the location and the story behind it is so powerful. Gary, you've worked on shows like Euphoria that also focuses on drug addiction. What was working on this series like compared to Euphoria?
Well, really two very different things. Euphoria, I was fortunate enough to see the Israeli format originally. It was sent to me, and it took me almost 2 years to set it up. Everybody in town passed on it. Every single buyer said no. And then we sold it, Hadass Moses and I, who owned the rights. We sold it to HBO, and that was the sort of end of my involvement on Euphoria, because I then went into the 6-year deal that I've been with on, I sold Euphoria over 6 years ago. And then I went into an overall deal at Starz, and that's been keeping me busy this whole time. I think that Euphoria and Hightown are very different beasts. Euphoria is sort of like an opioid crisis with kids on steroids, and it's sort of directed like by Baz Luhrmann, because it's sort of operatic in its scope and style. And I think that Cutter has created a show that is more, obviously Rachel Morrison directed the pilot and created Look, but it's more in the vein of a Sidney Lumet, John Cassavetes, the Maisley brothers. And my aesthetic personally is more towards that, the Sidney Lumet cinema verite style. So I love it.
I love both shows, and I really love Hightown. Like I said before, I think they both send really powerful messages. The series is set around an opioid epidemic. What is a message you guys want to give to those who are battling an addiction?
I think we've tried really hard to not make it like an after school special or to have a message. I pretend that I have any sort of like policy or public health perspective on how to fix that. I just know for myself, and something that was important to me to have in the show is that recovery is possible and people do, and that there is some sort of like spiritual element of life that you can't quite put your finger on. And I try, in amongst all the grimness and the crime, there's glimmers of people having spiritual experiences. Jackie, Junior, people falling in love, Renee, Ray, that there's always darkness, there's always light and darkness in every life, in every location.
For me, I love the message, I think, that comes out naturally. Like Cutter said, she's not someone who's spooning out medicine. But it's just that, obviously the opioids are an equal opportunity killer. But like she said, if you find recovery, there's the slightest chance that your life will get better. And if you stick to it, it will.
Well, I love the series, and I'm sure everyone else that's watching will love it as well.